Welcome back, everybody, to the daily show where I'll be breaking down the big mega cap stocks. So, before we get started, please hit that like button, and that is greatly appreciated. And if you're new here, definitely consider subscribing. Now, if you want to go above and beyond, get daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, live trading, and all kinds of long term and short term setups, definitely head over to Patreon, and that link will be down below in the description. And when you join, you get all sorts of trade ideas. With that being said, let's get right into the market. So, fear and greed index now sitting on greed, and we got a number reading at 56. Tomorrow, we got some data. We got GDP growth, we got durable goods, and we also have core PCE. We'll see if that actually moves the market. Now, what market did today was really boring and just one pathetic day in the market, especially when it comes to like if you're trying to look for day trades, it's just not gonna happen for you. Advancing 58.6, declining 37.9, with that, Dow was up 0.47, Nasdaq up 0.52, S&P up 0.64, Russell up 1.1%. 11 sectors that makes up S&P 500 on top led the way: basic materials, industrials, financial, energy, healthcare, technology, lagging behind consumer defensive. Stock market map, well, we talked about it in my video. You guys can see it on my thumbnail. Nvidia bullish. The second one that came out over the weekend was Nvidia massive breakout. And boy, oh boy, did this thing deliver, guys. I mean, look at the move up again, 1.49%. Broadcom slightly up, Microsoft slightly down, pretty much flat, both of them. Apple down 1%. So to see the market going up and Apple not really participating in that rally, which is kind of a little bit strange. We got Amazon up close to 0.5%, Google up 0.85%, Meta up 0.41%, Tesla up 1.56%, I think another all-time high. And consumer defensive, Walmart, Costco taking a big hit, even Starbucks, and then PG, they were also down right here. Then we got some banks like JPM, we got Visa, Wells Fargo, BRK, all are pretty much in the green. And look at the highlight here on the semis. EMU was up once again, closing at a brand new all-time high, up 4%. So just a couple of days ago, we saw semis crashing. SMH was down big time, and just because of earnings and Nvidia. I mean, you can see. I mean, there's a lot of greens on my screen, but the showstopper is definitely Nvidia. That is what holding up this entire market. Also, you got Oracle, up today 3.34%. So that was something to watch. New that Oracle finally, finding some sort of a short-term bottom and moving higher. And now I think we need to talk about the big name Nvidia, because this show is all about Nvidia. When it's down, we buy the dip and we sell the rip. We do not go and chase. So let's talk about Nvidia, guys. On Nvidia, stock was up 1.49%. So you can see Nvidia once again gap up and go. And where did we go today? Well, this high 184, and that's where we got rejection. We did not get over that level, and upper Bollinger Band is sitting right above it. So I don't see too much of an upside, especially with a slow, low volume day and even the week. So Nvidia, perhaps we get some sort of a shakeout, a pullback that brings Nvidia down here, maybe 177 to 176. That would be your dip as long as the support holds, because sometimes what you can see in these type of moves, there could be like fake out. Also to the upside, where it's going to catch a lot of people off guard and you'll just go and chase here. That's why I'm always against chasing, and then the stock comes back, right? So far, so good. Holding up this wedge type of pattern. We broke out, holding another gap up and go. But if this thing gaps over 184, the game over for the Bears. This thing heading higher will retest this 50-day moving average right here, 185.66. And from there, the next stop is around 190 and even higher. And don't forget this gap right up here. At some point, NVIDIA will definitely come up here to close this gap. And that's why people that are shorting NVIDIA, I'm totally against it, because I don't think this is a good, place to short Nvidia. Maybe when it comes up here, yeah, that would be a good opportunity. But I don't think I should be going and shorting this. This was a dip buying opportunity where I did actually buy the dip last Wednesday, and so far that position is up massively and still going. All I got to do is put a stop, and if this thing decides to come down and this is a fake breakout, I can just get out easily and I don't have to like go and chase anything, right? So Nvidia definitely holding up really nicely. Watch out if this thing pulls back. This is going to be a support to watch. 181.45 gap full reversal just below that 177 right here to 176, this gap. And if this thing can continue over 184, like I said, then we're not coming down here to close the gap here anytime soon. We would be hitting higher back up to 185 to even 190. On AMD, it's up 0.71%. So AMD was up to 220 today, and then gave back all the gains, came back and found support at 214, went slightly under, and you can see the 20-day so far holding. So AMD is actually above the 20-day moving average. Now, that 214, that's going to be key zone to watch. Underneath that, 207, 203, and then we can go even lower. If this thing holds that 214 right here, we could be going back up to 226 on AMD. On Meta, it's a 0.41%. So Meta was very disappointing today. And why? Because I got some calls and they were going here. They were going again the next day, and they were going even higher today. Look at the move here, 673.58, almost 674, and then faded. Gave back pretty much everything. It actually went red and then came back up somehow and now at 661, not over 664. So you can see how many times you're getting rejected. So if this thing somehow breaks and gets over, and especially takes out this high, guys, that would be right about 676. That's high out. We're gonna go and retest 682, and then this gap comes into play, and which I think it's gonna come into play at some point. But the key thing to watch: this 20-day is moving up. The 50-day flattening out right here. So if we cross over this 50-day here with the 20-day, that's gonna look more bullish. And if the price can hold above it, you're gonna see a pump here on Meta very soon. But if this thing breaks, the market comes down. Watch out for the key support right down here, that's 650 because the 20-day underneath that 638, and then we could be pulling back even harder. In that case, no point of buying until this thing fills this gap at 616.7. Meta definitely looking juicy here and looking really good for a nice, push to the upside. But you gotta be careful because this thing here moves really fast. And you can see today's candle how fast it came down. Gave back how much? Almost 20 bucks, guys. Look at the low here from the highs. So Meta, you got to be careful if you're trading, and it's not cheap. Like contracts are not cheap unless you're playing like weeklies. Then it's even more risky because yes, you can win a lot of money, but it's just like gambling. If it goes against you, you go home without anything. On Microsoft is down 0.21%. So kind of a strange day with Microsoft and even Apple. They were down today. And you can see Microsoft holding above the 20-day, which is at almost 483. And just below that, we also have supported 480. So as long as it's trading just over these levels right here, then we could see a move up to 492, maybe even 494, possibly up to into 500s and then 504. Now, if this thing does not hold here, which, if you go and look at it daily, I mean, anybody would say that, this could be also a bear flag pattern. We're just trading within the bear flag. But if this is going to play out, we need to take out bottom of this candle, which is at almost down here at 465. This is going to be key zone, key support that 483 to 480, 20-day and the 5-day. Underneath that, you'll see a flush back down to 473 on Microsoft. On Tesla stock is up 1.56%. So Tesla, two things to watch for. If we cross over 500, which is unlikely because Bollinger Band did not expand, but the way this thing is moving, it's based on FOMO. People are just looking at those 500 call buyers and they think it's still there. Who knows? If Wells just got out today, they took profit because we saw a lot of chop. Tesla got up to all-time high. We got really close to 500. I mean, if somebody's targeting 500, they would be stupid not to take any profit at 500. It was almost 500, guys. We talked about it over the weekend that the Bollinger Band expanded up to almost 500. So if the stock wants to go there, it can go because it's actually trading into blue skies. There is nothing here. And it did almost got to 500 today. And then we saw a bit of a pullback, even at the end, a lot of chop. And we ended up sitting at 488.73 up on the session here on Tesla. So two big levels, the 5 day, which is sitting at 481 and some change, or 482 to be exact, right here, and this trend line, which is around 480. These two levels, or these two areas, gives up, Tesla will land down here to this gap 463. Now if that holds, that could be a quick trade back up to 500. But if this thing falls below that area right here, 464 to 463, we do not hold here. And Tesla is known for that. Sometimes Tesla goes up like this, it will just go up straight couple days, and then you're going to see Tesla down 15 to 20% in just one day. And that is my concern, people that are chasing that Tesla can come down at one point, and you're chasing, and then boom, Tesla is right here. It happened every goddamn time before, and it can happen again on Tesla, guys. So be careful, especially if you're one of those people that are chasing Tesla for 500 calls. And these calls, the contracts are not cheap; they're expensive. So you can go and buy something like Uber, which is cheap, Nike, which is cheap, but this thing is not cheap. Same thing goes for Meta. These things are not cheap. Even Nvidia is way cheaper right now than buying a Tesla call or even a put. These things are expensive. So unless you're really profitable in the market and you know the game, you know how to trade a Tesla, then it's perfect for you. Otherwise, I mean, I would say stay away from this stock until this thing, uh, gives us a nice pullback and opportunity. Because if you're chasing here near 500 and then maybe it gets to 500 or even 510, I mean, how much more upside do you have? That should be the question, people that are buying right now. So Nvidia, is much cheaper. You got Nike came down even more, much cheaper stock. Than trading this. You got Uber, so many other names out there, guys. So many other names than Tesla. Like I see some people, they wake up at 2 o'clock, like 2 p.m. And now the question is like, hey, can I buy Tesla now? I mean, come on. 2 p.m. and you're gonna go and chase Tesla at 490. Think about it, guys. On Google, it's like it's up 0.88%. So Google was up nearly 1%, and it did hold this 5 day moving average right here, which is sitting pretty much at 306. Came down, held the support, went back up. So now the question here, if Google can actually get over that 314 mark, if that happens, we're going back up to these highs, maybe even all-time high. But if this thing remains below 314 and breaks under 306, the next support would be right down here at 303 and then 300. Underneath that, you're going to see a flush down to 292. On Amazon stock, it's up 0.5%. So Amazon is up, and you can see, I mean, this thing is just consolidating here and cannot break these moving averages right here. So I would say 229.53. Let's just make it even 230. If we can get over these moving averages, this 50-day and 20-day, we could be going higher to this gap, 233.55 and maybe even 236. If this thing comes back, it needs to hold that 223. Underneath that, we have support right here at 221, lower Bollinger Band, and then 215. On Apple, stock is down nearly 1%, and you can see Apple is definitely on a downtrend. And we had some volume on Friday, but that was OPEX, so we kind of got why this thing had such a big volume. But again, today, a day like today, where everything else was pretty much going higher, or at least we saw gap up and go, Apple did not participate in that rally. So that is kind of strange. You want to see Apple leading, but it's not. And yes, Nvidia is up, but it's not like at all-time highs or anything. And this one is coming off all-time highs from 288, I mean, down to almost 269. That's a pretty good dip. Now, when Apple was trading here, the same thing happened. People were chasing for 300, 310, just like Google was 340, 350, and all that. So that's a good example what can happen to a big name quickly. And I mean, look at how much Apple actually came down. Let's just measure. So let's just measure from the bottom. Look, it's 7.5% gave back. So imagine Tesla giving back like 7.5%. That's going to be big, or even 10%. Tesla is a big mover, not like Apple. So that's why, guys, I mean, all the, what I'm trying to say here, the point I'm trying to make is you have money, good. You want to buy some things, that's also good. But wait, you don't have to go and just blindly get into stuff where, it's just going to pull back right after you get in. Apple is a perfect example what happened. As a matter of fact, the puts we had, it was a I had a massive position on Apple, and unfortunately, when the position is too big and you see profit, you can just keep everything. Especially when you're shorting, like you can keep your short position for too long. You can keep your long position if it's calls or shares and you're going long in the market. It's a complete different story because over time, the market or these big names they only go up. If you go short, it's completely opposite because short, you gotta take profit at some point. You cannot just expect this Apple stock to go down to zero, the market itself to go down to zero because that's not, why you're here in the market. Yes, you can take a short position, but you gotta get out, and we got out. Otherwise, this thing would have made even more money, probably a couple $100,000 right here on Apple. So what is next? Well, 272.61 has to break. And if this downtrend is going to break, we need to get over 275. Then it's going to look more bullish up to 277 and even higher to 80. This thing does not break that 272.61. Watch out for the support right down here, pretty much exactly at 270. Underneath that, it will come down to 265 to close the gap right here at 264.13. So Netflix, another down day, 1.23%. And just like I said in my video over the weekend, that I mean, again, it's just bear flagging here. And we're not even holding 94 at this point. So the next big support would be right down here, 91.7. And from there, it can go much, much lower. Now, if this thing somehow gets a bounce and we get over not only 94, the key level has to break, which is 97. You can see multiple rejection here at 97. If we can stay over 97, maybe in next couple sessions and next month, usually really bullish. January is really bullish for Netflix. If that's the case, we need to get over 97, and that would bring Netflix back up to at least 100 or even higher. As of right now, the trend is down, but if you're thinking about going long, the perfect opportunity is right here on Netflix. So Broadcom is slightly up on the day, and this was the perfect play right here. Broadcom, again, I took some calls last week and sold completely out of it this morning because I knew it. This thing would give back, and this is exactly what it did. So if you look at my screen, just trading in the range, nothing really big here. If we can get over that 345, 46, we might be pushing higher to 357, but that is just not the case right now. But if this thing just building a bear flag here, if you look at this daily time frame, you can look at it, like in a shorter time frame, like 4 hour or maybe 1 hour. If this thing is just building a bear flag and takes out bottom of these candles or bottom of this channel right here, which is at 324, we could be heading into this gap, which is going to be a long way down for Broadcom. So far, nothing really big happening. It's just trading in the range for past couple days and possibly building a bear flag pattern. You can see clearly here, I mean, that is just a massive bear flag forming here on Broadcom. And if this thing does not clear, especially if it breaks this mini uptrend or this bear flag pattern bottom of the channel, it will definitely come down even more. So this one is tradable, but you got to be careful if this thing takes out this low from last week. And that's all I have for you guys in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section.